The first strange signals arrived on a Tuesday. Tom Reed rubbed his tired eyes as he stared at the monitor in the dim light of the observation room. The Global Space Initiative's Deep Space Listening Station was quiet at 3 a.m., just the way he liked it. Only the soft hum of computers and the occasional beep from the coffee machine broke the silence. "That can't be right," he muttered, leaning closer to the screen. The pattern flickered again, a series of pulses from somewhere beyond Neptune's orbit. They weren't random. They showed structure, rhythm, repetition. Tom had worked at GSI for, 15 years. He knew cosmic background radiation. He knew pulsar signatures. He knew satellite transmissions and space junk echoes. This was something else entirely. He quickly saved the data and started running analysis programs. By morning, he was sure of one thing. Whatever this signal was, it wasn't natural. "Sensor malfunction," Director Williams said without looking up from his desk. "Schedule maintenance for next week." Tom stood with his folder of printouts, frustration building. "Sir, I've checked the equipment 3 times. These signals have mathematical properties that don't occur in nature." Williams sighed and finally looked up. "Dr. Reed, do you know how many alien signal false alarms we've had in the last decade?" 37. Each one got scientists excited, made headlines, and turned out to be equipment glitches or natural phenomena we didn't understand yet. But nothing. We're not going through that again. Fix your equipment." As Tom walked back to his lab, he passed the break room where a news report played on the wall screen. Something about budget cuts to space programs. Nobody was watching. "So you're saying we're picking up alien phone calls?" Alex Gray asked, spinning in her chair. As the station's communications specialist, she had a way of simplifying complex ideas. "I'm saying we're picking up something artificial," Tom replied. "Look at the pattern." He pointed to his screen where a series of pulses scrolled by. "See how they repeat? But not exactly. There's variation within a structure like language." Alex finished, suddenly serious. "Holy crap. And it's getting stronger each day." Tom and Alex worked through the night, analyzing the signals, trying different decoding methods. They found patterns that repeated every 17 pulses, then sequences that seemed to count up in binary, then what looked like simple geometric formulas. "We need to tell someone," Alex said as morning light filtered through the blinds. "I tried." "Williams thinks it's a glitch." Tom ran his hands through his messy hair. "But I sent copies to a few colleagues at other observatories. Maybe they'll see the same thing." 2 weeks later, Tom received his first email back from Dr. Harris at the European Space Agency. "They're seeing it too," Tom nearly shouted across the lab to Alex. "And so is the observatory in Chile." Alex rushed over. "Does Williams know?" "He will soon. I've got confirmation from 3 separate facilities now. He can't ignore this anymore." But Williams did ignore it. So did the government, officials who received the report. In a world of budget constraints, political tensions, and immediate crises, strange signals from the edge of the solar system weren't a priority. The report was filed away, marked for future consideration. A month passed. The signals grew stronger, more complex. Tom and Alex continued their work, joined by a small group of scientists from around the world who communicated in private message boards and late-night video calls. "The patterns are evolving," said Dr. Lee from the Beijing Observatory during one call. "It's like they're trying different approaches to communicate, or they're getting closer," Alex suggested. Tom's phone rang. It was Williams. "Reed, what's this I hear about you running an international research group on government time?" Tom's heart sank. "Sir, we've confirmed the signals at multiple stations. They're showing clear signs of—" "I don't care if they're showing recipes for alien cookies," Williams cut in. "You're using GSI resources without authorization. This stops now. But sir, either drop this or clear out your desk. Your choice." That night, Tom sat alone in his apartment, surrounded by printouts of signal data. His computer showed a live feed from the GSI systems he could still access remotely right for now. The phone rang. It was Alex. "I might lose my job tomorrow," Tom said without greeting. "You might not need it," Alex replied, her voice tight with excitement. Turn on the news, any channel. Tom grabbed the remote and switched on his TV. Every channel showed the same image, a press conference with grim-faced military officers and scientists. Unusual object detected approaching the solar system at unprecedented speed, a stern general was saying. We want to emphasize there is no cause for alarm, but as a precautionary measure. Tom's computer beeped loudly. The Lao signal feed had changed. The patterns were stronger than ever, and now there was something else. A large object moving fast. His phone rang again. This time it was Williams. Reed. The director's voice was stripped of its usual confidence. How soon can you get to the facility? Within hours, Tom was back at GSI, this time in the main control center. The room buzzed with activity as technicians and scientists monitored incoming data. A large screen showed the object's approach. It changed course, Williams said, standing next to Tom. It was passing through the outer solar system, then suddenly altered trajectory toward Earth. Nothing natural moves like that. It's responding to our signals, Tom said. Our radar. Our transmissions. What does it want? Williams asked, no longer the confident director who had dismissed Tom's findings. I don't know. But I've been trying to tell you for months. Someone's been trying to talk to us. Alex rushed into the control room waving a tablet. You need to see this. She pulled up a comparison between the original signals Tom had discovered and the object's movement pattern. They match, she said. The signals were a warning about its arrival. The room fell silent as the implications sank in. How long until it reaches Earth? Williams asked. A technician looked up from her console. At current speed, less than 48 hours. Tom stared at the screen, watching the object grow larger as it approached. For months, humanity had ignored the message. Now, the messenger was coming in person, and there was no way to ignore a ship the size of Manhattan entering Earth orbit. Get me the president, Williams said to an aide. And someone find out if Reed here has any ideas about how to say hello. The world changed on a Thursday afternoon. People in cities across the globe stopped and looked up. Traffic halted. Phones came out to record. News helicopters swarmed the skies. The alien ship hung in the clear blue sky, massive and impossible to ignore. Tom Reed watched from a military helicopter racing toward a hidden government facility. Through the window he could see the vessel, a dark, curved shape that seemed to swallow light rather than reflect it. It was huge, at least a mile long and shaped like a smooth river stone. It's been in orbit for 3 hours, Colonel James Wilson shouted over the helicopter noise. No radio contact, no aggression, nothing. The stern-faced military officer had picked up Tom and Alex from GSI less than an hour ago. Now they were headed to what Wilson called the response center. Has it done anything? Alex asked, her face pale but determined. Just hovers there, Wilson replied. Every missile system on Earth is pointed at it, but the president wants to try talking first. Tom clutched his laptop bag containing all his signal data. It's been trying to talk to us. For months, we just weren't listening. The response center turned out to be an underground facility, filled with military personnel, scientists, and government officials. Screens covered the walls, showing the ship from various angles and news reports from around the world. Dr. Reed, a woman in a dark suit, approached. I'm Linda Park, National Security Advisor. I understand you've been tracking signals from this visitor. Yes, for months now, Tom said. The signals contain mathematical patterns that... He was interrupted by a commotion across the room. One of the large screens showed something new. Smaller objects coming from the main ship. We've got movement, someone shouted. Multiple craft deploying. The room erupted in activity. Military officers barked orders into phones and radios. Technicians tracked the new objects on radar. 7. Smaller craft. A technician reported. They're heading toward major cities. New York, London, Beijing, Moscow, New Delhi, Tokyo, and Rio. Are they attacking? Park asked sharply. No weapons detected. They're just positioning themselves above the cities. Tom watched the screens, his mind racing. The signals, he said suddenly. They're broadcasting the same signals I've been receiving. Alex was already connecting her tablet to the center's systems. I can confirm. It's the same pattern but stronger, more complex. Park turned to them. Can you understand what they're saying? Not yet, Tom admitted. But I think they're trying different approaches, hoping we'll pick up on one of them. Colonel. Wilson joined them, his face grim. The President's given us 6 hours to establish communication before considering other options. You can't attack them, Tom protested. We won't if we don't have to, Wilson replied evenly. But we need results, Doctor, fast. 3 hours later, Tom and Alex had set up a makeshift lab in a corner of the response center. Computers analyzed the alien signals as they tried different approaches to decode them. Look at this, Alex said suddenly. When we overlay the signal pattern with basic physics constants, Tom leaned over her screen. They're using universal constants as a foundation. Smart. Any advanced civilization would recognize them. Like a Rosetta Stone. Alex nodded. Basic math, then physics, then what's this? A new pattern had appeared in the signal. Tom studied it, then smiled for the first time in days. It's a response request. They want us to reply using the same pattern structure. Park overheard them. Can you do that? Yes, Tom said. We can use our satellite array to send a response. Wilson appeared beside them. Make it happen. Within the hour, Earth sent its first official response to an alien civilization. A simple mathematical sequence that mirrored the alien's own communication style. The response was immediate. One of the smaller ships, the one hovering above New York, glowed with a soft blue light. They've acknowledged our signal, Tom said, excitement in his voice. Now we build on it. Over the next hour, the exchange continued. Increasingly complex patterns trading back and forth. Tom and Alex worked frantically, each message building on the last. We're establishing basic concepts, Alex explained to the officials watching, anxiously. Numbers, physical constants, simple ideas. When do we ask what they want? Wilson demanded. Communication first, questions later, Tom replied without looking up from his work. We need shared concepts before meaningful questions. Another hour passed. The exchanges grew more sophisticated. I think we're ready, Tom finally said. We can try simple images now. They sent a basic diagram of the solar system. The alien ship responded with a similar diagram, but with an addition. A wave-like pattern passing through Earth's position. What does that mean? Park asked, leaning forward. Before Tom could answer, alarms blared throughout the facility. The main ship is moving, a technician shouted. It's descending into the atmosphere. Panic rippled through the room. Wilson grabbed a phone. Are the jets scrambled? Wait, Tom shouted. Look at the pattern of its descent. It matches our reply exactly. This is communication, not aggression. The ship descended slowly, coming to hover directly above the response center, though still high in the sky. How did they know our location? Park whispered. They tracked our signal, Alex said. They want to talk directly. A new message came through, different from the others. A series of coordinates on Earth's surface, just 3 miles from the facility. They want a meeting, Tom translated. The room fell silent. We need to inform the President, Park said finally. Wilson studied the coordinates on a map. That's an empty field. Open area, no civilians for miles. They're choosing a safe meeting place, Tom said. Away from population centers. Park looked at Tom and Alex. Would you two be willing to go? You're the only ones who've communicated with them. Before they could answer, the screen showing the alien ship flickered. The vessel seemed to shimmer. Then a portion of its hull became transparent, revealing a chamber inside. A figure stood there, clearly not human but humanoid. 2 arms, 2 legs, a head. Its skin seemed to shift colors slightly like oil on water. They're showing themselves, Alex whispered. The alien raised what appeared to be a hand in a universal gesture that needed no translation. They're saying hello, Tom said softly. Wilson studied the image, his military training battling with the wonder of the moment. The president needs to see this, and we need to decide who goes to that meeting. I'll go, Tom said immediately. So, will I? Alex added. Wilson frowned. We'll need military presence. And diplomatic, Park added. The alien lowered its hand and the ship's hull became opaque again. But the message was clear. First contact had begun, ready or not, and humanity would never be the same again. Dawn broke over an empty field surrounded by military vehicles. Soldiers formed a wide perimeter while scientists set up equipment on folding tables. Above them, the alien ship hung like a second moon, dark and silent. Tom Reed checked his equipment one last time. His hand shook slightly. Nervous? Alex asked, joining him. She carried a tablet loaded with their translation attempts. Wouldn't you be? Tom replied with a weak smile. First humans to meet aliens. Colonel Wilson approached them, along with a woman Tom hadn't met before. This is Maria Lopez, Wilson said. United Nations diplomat. She'll lead the conversation. Once you two establish communication, Maria nodded politely. She seemed calm, though her eyes kept drifting upward to the ship. The president has authorized direct contact, Wilson continued. But at first sign of hostility, we retreat. Clear? They all nodded. Here we go, Alex whispered. A beam of soft blue light appeared from the ship, touching down in the center of the field. Within the beam, a shape formed, the same figure they had seen through the ship's hull. As the alien stepped out of the light, the beam vanished. The alien stood about 7 feet tall, humanoid but clearly not human. Its skin shifted colors slightly, mostly blue and green tones. It had 2 arms, 2 legs, and a head with 3 dark spots that might have been eyes. It wore something like clothing, a simple wrap around its body. My God, Maria whispered. The alien raised its hand in the same greeting gesture they had seen before. Tom stepped forward, matching the gesture. Hello? The alien made a series of clicking sounds, then pulled out a small device. It spoke again, and this time the device translated, I am Navigator. I speak for the Guardians. The humans exchanged amazed glances. You understand our language? Maria asked, stepping forward. We have studied your transmissions for many cycles, the device translated. Your languages are simple. Wilson frowned at that but stayed quiet. Why have you come to Earth? Maria asked. The alien, Navigator, looked at each of them in turn. We came because you did not hear our warning. A chill ran down Tom's spine. Warning about what? Navigator pointed up, not at its ship, but at the sky beyond. Danger comes. We tried to tell you. The alien held out its device. A hologram appeared. Above it, a 3-dimensional map of stars that Tom recognized as their section of the galaxy. A wave of darkness moved through the stars, extinguishing them as it passed. What is that? Alex asked. Dark matter wave, Navigator replied. It destroys all organic life. Silence fell over the group as they stared at the hologram. That's impossible, one of the scientists muttered. Dark matter doesn't interact with normal matter. Your science is young, Navigator said. This form of dark matter does interact. Violently. Maria stepped forward. How do you know this? We have seen it before. Many worlds. Some listen to warning. Some do not. Navigator's voice remained flat through the translator, but something in its posture suggested sadness. Those who do not listen die. When will this wave reach Earth? Tom asked, his voice barely steady. Your time measurement. Less than 1 orbit of your planet around your star. Less than a year, Alex translated, her face pale. Colonel Wilson had been quiet, but now he spoke. How do we know this is true? This could be a trick to make us surrender. Navigator turned its 3 eye spots toward Wilson. If conquest was our goal, we would have taken your world already. We are not warriors. We are guardians. Guardians of what? Maria asked. Life, came the simple reply. Navigator gestured to its ship. We offer help. We have helped others. Some survive. How? Tom asked. How can we survive this? Two paths. Shield your world or leave it. The humans exchanged troubled looks. Leave. Earth? Maria said. That's impossible. We don't have the technology to evacuate billions of people. We can help, but not all. The meaning was clear. Not everyone would survive. And the shield option? Tom asked quickly. Navigator's device projected another hologram. Massive structures positioned around a planet. Shield generators, block wave effects, difficult to build, not always successful. Wilson stepped forward. We need to take this information to our leaders. Can you provide proof? Data our scientists can verify? Yes. Come to our ship. See truth. Yourselves. Maria looked at Wilson, who nodded slowly. We accept your invitation, Maria said. The interior of the alien ship defied human imagination. Corridors that seemed to shift and change. Rooms that were bigger inside than they appeared from outside. Technology that looked more like art than machines. Navigator led them through it all to a large chamber with a viewing window that showed Earth below. Our home, Navigator said, gesturing to holographic displays that appeared. Once. The images showed a beautiful world of purple oceans and green skies. Cities built into mountain faces, flying creatures that looked part bird, part fish. Then came images of the dark matter wave approaching their world, the planet surrounded by shield generators, the wave hitting, and finally, the planet dead. Oceans black, skies gray, cities crumbled. We were not prepared, Navigator said. Few survived. How many worlds has this happened to? Tom asked. 17 known. 7 tried shields. 3 succeeded partly. 10 tried evacuation. 6 succeeded partly. And you've been traveling, warning others? Alex asked. Yes. For many. Cycles. Maria studied the alien carefully. Why? Why help us? Navigator was silent for a moment. Life is rare. Precious. Must be preserved. The alien moved to another display showing data and calculations. Your scientists. Can they understand? Tom and the other scientist moved closer, examining the information. My God, one whispered. If this is accurate, it matches our models of dark matter behavior, another said. But this shows properties we've never observed. Because you have not looked correctly, Navigator said. There was no judgment in the translator's flat tone. Wilson had been studying the ship's interior. How many of your people are on this ship? 412, Navigator replied, last of our kind. The weight of that statement hung in the air. We need to take this information back, Maria finally said. Our leaders must see it. Navigator nodded, a gesture it had clearly learned from observing humans. Time is short, it said. Dark matter wave approaches. Your world must prepare. As they prepared to return to Earth, Tom looked back at Navigator. Thank you, he said simply, for trying to warn us. Navigator made a gesture they hadn't seen before, something like a bow. We hope you listen now, the alien replied, before it is too late. 1 month after first contact, the United Nations building in New York buzzed with more activity than it had seen in decades. Representatives from every nation filled the assembly hall. Armed guards stood at every entrance. Outside, crowds gathered. Behind barricades, their faces a mix of fear, hope, and curiosity. Tom Reed sat in a side room, watching the proceedings on a screen. The world had changed dramatically in 4 weeks. News of the dark matter wave had spread globally, causing panic at first, then a strange kind of unity. Faced with extinction, old enemies now worked together. The door opened and Alex entered, looking tired but determined. The shield generator plans are ready, she said, dropping into a chair beside him. Guardian engineers say we can start building next week. Tom nodded. And the evacuation plans? Alex's expression darkened. That's the problem, even with Guardian E. Ships helping, we can only evacuate about 50 million people. Out of 8 billion, Tom said quietly. How do you choose who lives and who stays? Alex whispered. Before Tom could answer, Colonel Wilson entered the room. His uniform was wrinkled, suggesting he hadn't changed in days. The Planetary Defense Coalition wants both of you at the main science facility, Wilson said without greeting. Reed, your team has been assigned to work directly with the Guardian engineers. The Planetary Defense Coalition, or PDC, had been formed by the UN just days after the truth was revealed. It now commanded more resources and authority than any organization in human history. When do we leave? Tom asked, standing up. Now. There's a helicopter waiting. The PDC science facility was built in what used to be a military base in the Nevada desert. It now housed thousands of scientists and engineers from around the world, all working on one of two projects: shield technology or evacuation. Tom's lab was in the shield division, a massive warehouse converted to hold both human and Guardian technology. 3 Guardian engineers worked there, teaching humans about technology centuries beyond their understanding. The shields must form a complete global network, explained the Guardian engineer that humans called blue, due to its predominantly blue skin tones. 22 generators at precise locations. Tom studied the holographic globe showing the planned positions. Some of these are in the ocean, others in remote mountain regions. All locations necessary, Blue replied through its translator. Pattern must be exact. Alex pointed to one location in the Middle East. This is an active war zone. How do we build there? Blue's skin rippled, and what they had learned was a sign of concern. All positions necessary or shield fails. Wilson, who had been listening from the doorway, stepped forward. The UN Security Council has declared all generator sites as protected international zones. Any attack on a site will be considered an attack on all humanity. Will that be enough? Tom asked. Wilson's face was grim. It has to be. 2 months later, Tom stood on a platform overlooking the first completed shield generator. It was massive, a towering structure of metal and strange materials the Guardians had provided. It hummed, with power, glowing softly in the twilight. 1 down, 21 to go, Alex said, joining him on the platform. And only 7 months until the wave arrives, Tom replied. Progress was happening, but tensions were rising too. News had leaked about the limited evacuation capacity. Riots had broken out in several cities. Some religious groups claimed the Guardians were saviors bringing the chosen to heaven. Others called them demons preparing for invasion. There's something wrong with the evacuation plans, Alex said suddenly, her voice low. Wilson was meeting with the PDC leadership yesterday. I overheard things. Tom turned to her. What things? They're arguing about who gets the evacuation spots. Nations are threatening each other. The Guardians offered 20,000 spots to each major nation, but some leaders want more for their people. Tom shook his head. We're facing extinction, and they're still playing politics. It's human nature, Alex said sadly. 3 months later, halfway to the deadline, 12 shield generators stood complete. 10 more were under construction. The world economy had been completely reorganized around the crisis. Money meant little. Now survival was the only currency that mattered. Tom worked 18-hour days, learning Guardian technology and helping adapt it to work with Earth systems. The progress was incredible. Humanity was making technological leaps that should have taken centuries, but it came at a cost. Exhaustion, tension, fear. Tom was studying shield harmonics when Blue approached him. Tom Reed, come. Important information. Tom followed the Guardian to a quiet corner of the lab. Blue's skin was rippling rapidly, a sign of strong emotion. What's wrong? Tom asked. Shield technology, Blue said. Not fully tested on dark matter, wave of this magnitude. Tom felt cold. What are you saying? Our world tried shields. They failed. But you told us shields were an option. They are option, not certain option. Blue's translator couldn't convey emotion, but its body language showed distress. Did not want to remove hope. Tom stared at the alien. So the evacuation is the only sure way? Not sure either. Dangerous journey, limited space. Then what do we do? Blue's skin settled into a calm blue pattern. Continue building shields. Prepare evacuation. Hope. That night, Tom couldn't sleep. He paced his small quarters, at the facility mind racing. If the shields might not work and evacuation couldn't save everyone, what options remained? His computer beeped. A message from Alex. Meet me in Lab 7. Now. Bring no one. Curious and concerned, Tom made his way through the quiet facility to the small lab used for testing shield components. Alex was there with a guardian he hadn't met before, smaller than the others, with skin that shifted between green and purple. This is Helper, Alex said. It works in the guardian ship's engine. Room. Helper made a greeting gesture. Alex Gray says you think differently. See patterns others miss. Tom looked between them. What's this about? Alex brought up a holographic display showing the dark matter wave. Helper has been analyzing our shield designs. There might be another option the Guardians haven't considered. What option? Helper's skin rippled. Not shields, not evacuation, diversion. Tom stared at the hologram. Divert the wave? Is that possible? Unknown, Helper replied. Never attempted. Requires technology Guardians have used in new way. Why are you telling us this and not the other Guardians? Tom asked. Helper's skin darkened. Navigator believes options limited to shields or evacuation. Navigator's position, traditional, does not see new possibilities. Alex leaned forward. But you think it might work? Requires calculations, testing, human creativity. Helper pointed to Tom. Guardians respect patterns, follow them. Humans break patterns, create new ones. Tom studied the holographic wave. A wild, impossible idea was forming in his mind. We'd need to create a massive gravitational lens, he said slowly. Something to bend the wave around Earth. Helper's skin brightened. Yes, precisely. But that would require energy on a solar scale, Alex objected. Tom looked at the Guardian. Unless we use the wave's own energy against itself. Helper made a gesture they'd never seen before, something like excitement. Yes, this is human thinking we need. Tom felt hope for the first time in months. We need to start working on this. Immediately. In secret until we have something solid to present. Why secret? Alex asked. Because, Tom said, if we're wrong, we don't want to give false hope. And if we're right. He glanced at Helper. We might face resistance from those invested in the current plans. Helper's translator spoke one last sentence before they began work. Guardians saved what we could of our world. Perhaps humans will save all of yours. 1 month before the dark matter wave was due to reach Earth, world leaders gathered in the PDC headquarters for what might be their final major decision. The room was tense as Tom Reed presented his plan. Behind him stood Alex, Helper, and everyone's surprise navigator. The shield network is complete, Tom began, and the evacuation ships are ready. But we now have a third option. He activated a holographic display showing the solar system, the approaching dark matter wave, and a network of small devices positioned in space. Instead of trying to block the wave or run from it, we can divert it around Earth. Colonel Wilson frowned. How is that possible? The Guardians told us the wave can't be stopped. Not stopped, Navigator spoke through its translator. Bent. The room stirred with surprise. The Guardian leader had been skeptical when first presented with Tom's plan, but after weeks of testing and calculations, had become its strongest supporter. The dark matter wave follows gravitational paths, Tom explained. With a network of specially designed gravity generators positioned throughout the solar system, we can create a lens effect that will bend the wave around Earth, like water flowing around a rock, Alex added. The President of the United States stood up. What are our chances with each option? Navigator answered. Shield network, 37% chance of success. Evacuation, 100% for those who leave, 0 for those who stay. Diversion plan, 62% chance of success for all. The shields might fail, Tom said. The evacuation will definitely leave billions behind, but the diversion could save everyone. What resources do you need? Asked the Chinese premier. Tom took a deep breath. Everything. Every rocket, every satellite, every bit of Guardian technology we can spare. And we need them deployed in 2 weeks. The room erupted in argument. Some leaders favored the guaranteed safety of evacuation for at least some people. Others wanted to stick with the shield plan they'd invested so much in. Maria Lopez, now Secretary General of the UN, stood up and the room quieted. We faced extinction because we ignored warnings, she said. Then we found hope when the Guardians arrived. Now working together, humans and Guardians have found a solution neither would have discovered alone. She looked around the room. I say we try to save everyone. The vote was unanimous. The next 2 weeks were a blur of activity. Every space agency on Earth worked together to launch components for the gravity generator network. Guardian ships carried the heaviest pieces into position. Scientists and engineers worked around the clock, making adjustments as new data came in. 5 days before the wave's arrival, the network was complete. 24 gravity generators positioned in a precise pattern through the solar system, ready to create the largest gravitational lens ever attempted. Tom stood in the PDC control center, watching status reports from each generator. Alex worked beside him, coordinating with teams around the world. Generator 17 reporting fluctuations, a technician called out. Tom checked the readings. The power coupling is overheating. We need to reduce output by 7%. That will weaken the eastern edge of the lens, Alex warned. Better a weak spot than a complete failure, Tom replied. Colonel Wilson entered the control room. The evacuation ships are standing by just in case. Shield generators are at full power, also just in case. Tom nodded gratefully. They had 3 chances to survive now, not just 1. Navigator approached them. Time to activate lens network. Tom took a deep breath. Initiating gravity lens in 3, 2, 1. Around the solar system, 24 generators hummed to life. In space, invisible gravitational forces began to bend and twist, creating a massive lens that would, if everything worked correctly, divert the dark matter wave around Earth. Now, they could only wait. 3 days later, astronomers confirmed the wave had entered the outer solar system. Early readings showed it beginning to bend as planned. It's working, Alex exclaimed, hugging Tom. But their celebration was short-lived. Generator 8 is failing, a technician reported urgently. Power levels dropping. Then another. Generator 13 reporting critical stress levels. The wave is stronger than we calculated, Helper said, skin rippling with alarm. Generators cannot handle full force. Tom studied the data frantically. We need to strengthen the remaining generators to compensate. Impossible without someone manually adjusting the field harmonics on site, Helper replied. No time to reach outer generators. Navigator stepped forward. One option remains. Command ship can position at central point. Amplify remaining generators. That would put the ship directly in the wave's path, Wilson pointed out. Yes, Navigator said simply. A heavy silence fell over the control room. I'll go, Tom said suddenly. I know the system better than anyone. You can't pilot a Guardian ship, Alex protested. I can, Helper said. We'll take Tom Reed. Navigator's skin shifted through multiple colors before settling on a deep blue. I will go as well. My knowledge of dark matter needed. Before anyone could argue further, alarms blared. 3 more generators had failed. We must go now, Navigator said. Tom turned to Alex. Keep the shield network ready as backup. She grabbed his hand. Come back. I'll try. He managed a smile. Humans are stubborn that way. The Guardian command ship moved faster than any human vessel, reaching the center of the gravity lens network in under an hour. From the control chamber, Tom could see the dark matter wave approaching, a rippling darkness against the stars. Navigator and Helper worked quickly, connecting the ship's powerful engines to the gravity network. Tom integrated his control algorithms into the ship's systems. Wave approaching critical distance, Helper reported. Engines at maximum, Navigator added. Tom focused on the gravity field harmonics, making constant adjustments as the wave approached. The ship shuddered under the strain. Hull integrity at 70%, Helper warned. Maintain position, Navigator ordered. Through the viewport, Tom could see the wave bending around them, a river of darkness splitting around their position. It was working. Then a section of the wave broke through, heading directly toward Earth. Secondary. "Breach!" Tom shouted. "We need more power to the southeast quadrant." "No power remaining," Navigator replied. Tom looked at the controls, then at Earth visible in the distance. Billions of people waiting, hoping. "The shield network," he said suddenly. "If we time it perfectly, the shields can handle that small section." He opened a communication channel. "Alex, activate shield network now, Sector 7. The channel crackled. "Tom, we can barely hear you." "Shields, Sector 7, now." The ship shuddered violently. Hull breach alarms sounded. "Did they hear?" Navigator asked. Tom watched helplessly as the dark matter fragment raced toward Earth. Then, at the last moment, the planet's surface glowed as the shields activated. The fragment hit the shields. Energy flashed. For a terrible moment, Tom thought, they had failed. Then the shields held. The fragment dispersed. The main wave continued past Earth, bending around the planet just as they had planned. "We did it," Tom whispered. Helper's skin glowed bright green. "Earth is safe." The ship listed to one side. Warning lights flashed everywhere. "But we may not survive return journey," Navigator said calmly. Tom smiled. "At least we saved everyone." 2. His surprised Navigator's skin shifted to match Helper's bright green, a color of joy they had never seen the leader display before. "Not everyone saved this way before," Navigator said. "Humans, different. See new paths." As the ship limped back toward Earth, Tom looked out at his home planet, now safe from a threat it had almost ignored. The Guardians had come to warn humanity. Humanity had done more than listen. They had found a solution no one thought possible. 6. Months later, Tom stood on a hillside watching the construction of the first joint Human Guardian Research Center. The Guardian ship remained in Earth's orbit, now permanently staffed by both species. Alex joined him, carrying plans for a new deep space telescope. "Navigator says the next Guardian ship arrives next week," she said. "They're bringing scientists instead of evacuation ships this time." Tom smiled. "And we're sending our first team to help them rebuild their colony world." "Not bad for a species that didn't get the message at first. But we definitely couldn't ignore the ship they sent," Tom replied with a laugh. Above them, the sky was clear and full of possibilities. Humanity had nearly missed its warning, but in the end, they had done more than just survive. They had shown the Guardians a new way to fight, and given an ancient race new hope for the future.